Hello there, welcome back to Jennie Designs with Paper. Thank you for stopping by my channel today. Got a little bit of art journaling going on today, so get comfy and let's get crafty. I'm still playing catch up with my prompts. This is the Mood Board 25 for September from the Artsy Trio Facebook group, and this is entitled Blues of September or Blues in September, and it is all blue and gold images. There's a little bit of newspaper or book text. So I am going to do a little playing. I've got my my blowy tool thingy. I've got a couple of spray inks. I have some liquid gloss medium. I have some clear gesso. And I have some bronze and some gold acrylic paint. I have an art journal page that is about 5.5 by 8.5. And I have a dictionary page. This dictionary page actually has the word blue on it, so cool beans. I'm going to use this leaf stamp and die set and some 110-pound cardstock, and that's kind of what we're going with. So the first thing I want to do is add this dictionary page to my art journal page with that gloss medium. I'm going to brush on really quick with this dollar store chip brush. I did cut the bristles down a little bit. Sometimes those chip brushes from the dollar store are not awesome. So I cut it down a little bit so they would be less scraggly looking. I then flipped the dictionary page over and added the art journal page to the back of the dictionary page so that I could see that it was lined up and I was getting all of the words on it. I did need to put some more of that gloss medium on the corners and edges, and then I'm adding a layer to the top of the page. I did heat set that just a little bit, and then I'm adding some clear gesso to the top of the page to knock back that shine. Because I'm going to be adding some of that liquid, those spray inks, and I wasn't sure how they would mix with the gloss medium. So I've got a bunch of just copy paper here. I'm going to spread it out on my desk because any ink that gets sprayed or blown over the edge with that air tool can be picked up by that paper, and I can use those papers for like gel printing or scrap or whatever. Instead of just using the dropper in this oh my gosh, in this liquid, the ink, spray ink, oh my goodness, I can't think of words. Sorry. I got a dropper, and I'm just dropping little puddles of ink onto my page and then spreading it around with that blow tool thingy. I don't know what that's called. It's the Tim Holtz thing that is marketed to work with alcohol inks, but I use it for a lot of other things because it's better than trying to blow ink around with a straw. And I liked the irregular pattern that was created when I used it on my art journal page last week. So I am heating this and dabbing up the big drops at the same time. And then I pulled out this walnut stain distress ink, and it actually pushed that blue dilutions ink out of the way. So I didn't like that. I thought it would make it darker. So I sopped that up with a baby wipe. I dried it off, and then we're going to do something else to make it darker. I pulled out my jet black archival ink, and I'm going to move my scrap papers and then just ink blend the edges of this page going back over that walnut stain. I think that if I had put another layer of the clear gesso over the top of that ink, that maybe the walnut stain would not have pushed it out of the way so much, but I'm not entirely sure that ink, the dilution spray, would not have moved with the gesso either. So I don't know. So on the mood board are these leaves, and that is what I decided to use for my focal point today. And I have this Stupendous stamp set. It is 3 leaves with coordinating dies. I am going to stamp them onto a piece of 110-pound cardstock. Going to prepare that cardstock with an anti-static powder tool because I'm going to heat emboss these leaves in a rose gold embossing powder. Now I'm using my Misty because these are large stamps. I'm wanting to make sure I can stamp this twice, just to make sure I get a good image of the veining in the stamps, because that is going to be like the detail is going to be the part that matters on this. This is the only image I'm putting on my art journal page. So once I'm going to ink that up and stamp it again. I'm using this little microfiber rag to help my fingers slide over that Misty lid. It is really dirty. I need to clean it up. This is just a fine detail rose gold embossing powder. I have a piece of scrap paper, clean scrap paper down on my desk, not the inky one. And I'm just going to go ahead and dump all of the contents of that bottle, if I need to, onto my paper. And then tap them off slowly and tap off all of that extra embossing powder. I'm not super concerned about if there's pieces or little flecks of embossing powder outside the leaves that don't come off, because I'm die cutting these images out, but also it's imperfect, right? So I die cut them out with the coordinating dies, but I also die cut 3 plain white pieces, or plain white leaves of each of the leaves. So this makes them quite thick. It's 4 layers of 110-pound cardstock. So it's probably, each one of those is probably 1/8 of an inch thick, maybe a little more. And I did that to make them rise off the back of the background page and to make them more substantial. Now I'm going to eliminate that white by pouncing on the leaves with this cobalt archival ink. This is the same color of blue that I kind of blended out that jet black ink with when I was trying to hide that distress stain that did not turn out how I planned. I am kind of going around the edges as well. And now I'm going to add some more texture to the background. I have this layered leaf stencil set. I'm only going to use the detail part of the stencil, the second part of the stencil. And I'm using that bronze acrylic paint and a paint sponge. And I'm just taking some of those leaf stems and going down the right-hand side of my page, kind of sort of curling up around the bottom, but not coming up the left side. I'm just going to fill it in a little bit. It's a little bit finicky because I don't want to smear what I already have down. And then I'm taking this lighter gold. This is a mica acrylic paint with mica in it. And I'm using a used up gift card to add some cross hatching, which I love how that turned out. And then I'm going to take the gold and the bronze paint and kind of add some highlight and low light to my leaf die cuts. I'm also kind of smearing it around those edges to kind of hide the white a little bit. I don't love using my fingers all the time, but at this point I had so much blue spray ink on my fingers that I was like, whatever. It's going to make a mess. It's going to make a mess. I like how that lighter gold created that highlight side of the leaf, and I'm putting the highlight on different parts of the leaves because I'm going to add them onto my journal page with all of the highlights generally facing the same direction, but the leaves will all be kind of tumbling down. So now I just need to figure out the layout of the leaves, how I want the leaves. And it, I wanted them to stack a little bit like a pile of leaves. I've pulled in my prompt card so you can kind of see the color palettes there are all that blue and gold. And I know this is really sped up. It was really slow because a lot of the work on this page was detail, like ink blending and gluing and stuff like that. It was kind of slow, so I did speed it up. I just felt like it would make the video a little bit more, I don't know, maybe fun to watch isn't the right word, but a little more watchable. I am going to add some ink splats or paint splats as well. I've got that gold paint and a fan brush. I've watered it down a little bit. I'm also going to pull that bronze paint back in. I wish I could get a little bit less of that paint out of that tube at one time, but that's okay. I have no quote for this page. I did not create or print out a quote for this page at all. And before the paint was quite dry, I decided to put my prompt card on the back and then punch the holes in my page. And I realized I forgot to put the pattern paper on the back. So I did that later after it dried. But here is a close-up of my page. I love the blues and the golds. I don't mind that it's missing a quote at all. I just love how it turned out. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I have a couple of other videos here that you might like. I have that subscribe button. Leave me a comment down below. How do you feel about blues and golds together? How do you feel about autumn approaching? Give me a thumbs up and have a really fabulous day.